All right, what is good, everybody? Quancredible here. We have chapter 53 for the Four Nights of Apocalypse, and I can honestly say big improvement for me from chapter 52, just because chapter 52 is just like too slow. Like it was just like a little too slow. Like granted, it's a necessary, or it was a necessary setup chapter, but I definitely prefer when things kind of move kind of like this, where they have like multiple parts to them, like they do in 53. In 53, though, we do get Percival kind of questioning, what Meliodas means by helping him save everyone. Because Percival doesn't believe himself to have that kind of power, as well as the way he had already heard it, the Four Knights of Apocalypse were going to destroy the world. And this is funny because Meliodas says that Lancelot left out the key part, meaning that there's something much more to the Four Knights of Apocalypse titles than what were already established, which is no big surprise, seeing as like the seven deadly sins, like if you look at them, all of the sins that they were like accused of committing, there was more context behind it, or it wasn't necessarily as plain as they, or some of them were just outright framed. So it was never quite exactly how it looked. So I see no reason why the Four Knights of Apocalypse titles wouldn't be the exact same. If you want my honest opinion on it, though, I kind of think that potentially the Four Knights titles, whatever they are, say like how Percival's death, or how like Lancelot might be like starvation or something, like I kind of think maybe they'll save or do the opposite. Like maybe since like Percival is death, maybe he'll save a bunch of people, or like since Lancelot is starvation, maybe he'll make a lot of people not hungry. Like I'm not really for sure on all of that, but like I definitely think it will be something like that is the complete opposite. But at any rate, Meliodas does say that he will explain the rest once everyone is all together. To which we learn, to which Percival asks, so not everybody is here yet, and then Meliodas says, including him, there are three here. So that basically 100% Lancelot, Percival, Tristan is here, or was here, I guess, because it was really weird. Because right in the very next panel, he says that some random knight flies in and says that the prince has returned from his voyage. So it was like, if it is Tristan, he wasn't actually here. So I don't like that part was kind of confusing, because like he said, here we have three, but I guess I'm operating under the assumption that Tristan is one of them, which he he just is. Like he actually just is. But but it would just be weird to say that he's here when he isn't actually here. But Tristan was sent on a journey to find the other Knight of Apocalypse, which is kind of funny that both Lancelot and Tristan both got tasked with finding the other knight and then bringing them back. I kind of thought that was funny. I'm also looking forward to potentially a interaction between Lancelot and Tristan. Maybe Lancelot bragging that he brought his knight back before Tristan. I feel like that could be kind of funny, but nonetheless, there is some type of complication along with it, because he said he did bring him back, or did find the fourth knight, but there's some kind of problem. So we didn't get to hear what that was, but I honestly have no idea what this little hiccup could could even be. In the midst of all these two talking, though, Percival sees like some shining lights off in the distance, and since Percival like literally has the brain the size of like a raisin, he just runs off straight in that direction while Meliodas is talking. So Meliodas does tell him to wait in the castle, but Percival's already gone. So I mean, it doesn't it doesn't even matter. He's lost again. So while Percival is running, just staring directly at the stars, not even paying attention to anything else, he does run into this girl, who we later find out's name is Ysolda. Now, Ysolda, I did do very light research, and I believe that Ysolda is like the name can be translated a lot of different ways or spelt a lot of different ways. But I believe that this person's character could be based off of someone that is a lover of Tristan. So I'm not for sure if this is like setting up for the future. Like maybe this chick has some deep ties to Tristan, or maybe like this could be a potential love interest for Tristan, or maybe Nakaba just liked the name and wanted to use this character. I know that like myself, and I'm sure probably a bunch of other people, as soon as they seen her, just assumed she was one of the four knights. But after like looking into her character, I don't really think she is, because she's kind of one of the only characters. I don't really think she is, because she isn't part of the Knights of the Round Table in the lore. And I mean, I'm not saying that they all have to have these deep Arthurian lore connections, but it would just it would just make sense. It would just be breaking his already established pattern. So I don't really think so. But anyway, Percival runs into her and immediately runs up her skirt. It was a complete accident, I hope. Knowing Percival, who knows? But after that, she is of course, really mad about all that. So she goes to crush his nuts, which, definitely not one of the better spots to be in for a guy. I would understand that. But one thing I will say that I do like about her character already is that she uses the mace. And I kind of, this is like one of the things I do enjoy about this entire seven deadly sins or four knights versus like a lot of people have like different they use like a lot of unique weapons, and you just don't really see a lot of people have like a mace, in my opinion. But while this is going on, we see these other two knights being Cheon and Jade. I don't really think these two have any deep connections. I mean, I looked up both their names and tried to poke around and see what I could find, but one's name is just a dog breed, and the other one, I mean, Jade has been used for so many different things. It's just be hard to try to narrow into what Nakaba could be going for. So I wouldn't put too much stock in these two, especially since they were like introduced second and their character designs don't particularly stick out. I will say the one guy, his name is Cheon. His weapon is really cool. It does remind me of a Ruin, that guy part of the Weird Fangs. I feel like I bring these guys up a lot. Like for them to be so not important, I feel like I bring up the Weird Fangs so much. But his weapon does remind me of that. But these three knights together kind of work together as like a unit. I know I'm kind of going a little bit off tangent, but the chapter title was Triple Trouble, and it's because for me, when I saw the title, I assumed that it was going to be talking about Lancelot, Tristan, and Percival, or even on the off chance it could be talking about like Gil Thunderhauser, Griamore, because I know those three were known as like the like trio of troublemakers or something along those lines, like those three. So I thought maybe we would get those guys, but it was actually referring to these three, you know, Cheon, Jade, and Isolde. But anyway, Cheon and Jade see Isolde chasing Percival, trying to attack him, and that's when one of them gets a glimpse of the piece of the coffin of the Eternal Darkness, which prompts him to believe that he is working for Arthur, which makes sense but doesn't make sense. Like, why would there be a Chaos Knight like in Leonis? But at the same time, they know that they have all the pieces of the coffin, so maybe they're trying to set it off in Leonis. So it makes sense that they could potentially assume this. So all three of them do confront Percival, and it's one of them has this interesting ability to, I guess, maybe take away the ability to talk or take away your voice, because Percival does try to, you know, convince them or tell them what actually is going on, but he can't, like, his voice isn't coming out. So I'm assuming that one of them does have an ability that is kind of like this, and I don't think it really necessarily has a condition, because like Percival isn't like lying or anything, or Percival is not like a malicious person, so I don't see there being some type of weird condition on it. Maybe it just flat out just takes your voice away. But at any rate, these three holy knights do intend to jump Percival with whatever their combined magical attack is. If from what it looks like maybe one of them is buffing the other two, and then the other two might have some different ability. Not really for sure, just by looking at the last panel, because that's kind of where the chapter ends. But it's just really interesting. I don't believe any of these three to potentially have anything to do with the four knights or with the fourth knight. I mean, it's possible, but at the same time, it's like Nakaba just gave us three characters, so like I'm not for sure if one of them is the four knights. Like, I don't really think so. Like, if I had to honestly say, I don't honestly think one of them is. I feel like a popular pick would be Isolde, or Isolde. I don't think it's her. I don't. I really don't. I think it's going to be something else. Like, I really think that Nakaba wants us to think that, and then it's going to be something else. I mean, if I'm wrong, who cares? It's not a big deal. It's not like I don't want it to be her, but I just personally don't think so. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm just happy that we got to see like some new holy knights, because if you think about it, we haven't seen actually any like new holy knights with names and abilities in four knights. We've only seen chaos knights, so we haven't seen anyone like in any, like, I guess, of this like new gen. And I can't remember these guys in Seven Deadly Sins, so I really do believe that they are just like completely new characters. Of course, if I'm wrong in the comments, please let me know, because I oftentimes am, but I really feel like these guys are just like completely new. But aside from that, this chapter was good. Like I said in the beginning, I liked it a lot more than the last chapter, because the last chapter, granted, it was a lot of necessary setup, but it was a lot of stuff that didn't really matter or push the plot at all. But at least with this, we're moving past all that. We're definitely moving forward. So hopefully next chapter everyone can find everybody. Hopefully Percival's group finds him, or Tristan and Lancelot meet up, everybody gets together, because we've kind of just been in Leonis just running around and going crazy. Not saying that's a bad thing, but just for like the story's sake, it's like some people might not like where the direction that this is going. So hopefully everything gets more comes together more in the future. But I give this chapter like probably like, I want to give it a 7, but I feel like I'm only giving it a 7 because last chapter was kind of mess. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Just better than average, but not quite like amazing, but definitely better than an average chapter. So aside from that, let me know what you guys are thinking down below in the comments. Let me know what you think about this new trio or group, or what you think about this new girl. Do you think she is part of the Four Knights, or do you think maybe it's one of the guys? Maybe one of them are part of the Four Knights, or maybe them as a group will be the Knight That's kind of weird, but maybe. I'm just curious to know you guys' thoughts on the matter. So with that being said, make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel for more content. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys later.